We're coming off the heels of Survivor Series this past weekend. Ryan was in attendance. How was your weekend in San Diego?
It was nice to see Petco Park like transformed from being a baseball park into a WWE event
Hmm.
because they've never had one there before. And so it was really cool to see how they, made the transition.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. But altogether, Survivor Series, one of the longest lasting pay-per-views and PLEs and WWE history. I think this is probably what 39th annual or some 38th annual, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. I think it's the second longest running
Yeah,
one behind WrestleMania.
exactly. And I think probably one of the weakest Survivor Series that we've seen in a while.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's a lot of hype and expectations put into Survivor Series, and I think that just because like on paper it was a really good Survivor Series on paper,
Right.
but like yeah, I don't know. To me, the women's War Games match felt like it was good, it was entertaining, but it felt underwhelming compared to the past women's War Games matches. And
Yeah.
then the men's War Games match just felt flat. It didn't really make much sense, and I feel like they were trying to like tell a bunch of different stories that just didn't really work.
Hmm.
And it also was just really weird to see Brock Lesnar in a team
Yeah.
because he like never in a team.
Right.
So like I agree with the heels winning. I think they should have.
Yeah.
So I think that was a right decision. And like I mean some of the action in the match was good, but it really felt like it could have been so much more.
Right.
And the crowd, and I was there. The crowd booed heavily after the match was over
Yeah, I saw that on TikTok.
because we all expected something to happen because Roman, Punk, and Cody were all there. I didn't hear it because I was there, but I guess apparently Roman told Cody, "This is the last time we ever team. Just know that."
Yeah. 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 Certainly, it just felt like there needed to be something there at the end in order for a big payoff. And it never happened. And I think that's been the theme of this year for WWE in terms of PLEs, or at least events where you feel like there's supposed to be something big that's going to happen in order for this to pay off, and it just leaves you with an underwhelming feeling.
Yeah, and then it's another one of those things too, where it's like they they tried to push certain like stories, and they just didn't make like any sense like whatsoever. Like they threw Cody in there, like Cody has nothing to do with the Vision outside of his feud with Seth, and
Right.
then Seth's hurt, so it's like why was Cody in there where you could have had a guy like LA Knight in there
Right.
who probably could have really benefited from being in the match. But also, I don't like that they had both world champions in the War Games match.
Yeah, they didn't have a world championship match any of the matches on the pay per view. They only had four matches in total. I think the biggest thing for me is War Games in itself is it's lost that aura about it now.
Yeah, and I there's a lot of people that are saying that they should bring back the traditional 5-on-5, and I agree with them because some of these War Games matches feel forced and shoehorned.
Definitely.
Like to me, if there's like a legitimate story for War Games, then stick with it.
Hmm.
But like if it feels forced or shoehorned, don't do it.
Right.
Like I don't think it needs to be Survivor Series War Games.
Right.
I
Well,
think it could just be go back to traditional, and then if there's a story that makes sense, then you can do a War Games match for it.
exactly. But that's been WWE's MO for years. Even under Vince McMahon in his later years, they had to have specialized pay-per-views for whatever reason they felt like. In February, they had to be the Elimination Chamber. They had to have Money in the Bank. They have to have TLC. They had to have the TLC pay per view. They had to have the Hell in a Cell pay per view. And yeah, they've gotten away from a couple of those, but it's still a lot like that under the Triple H era, where he feels like he has to do war games for Survivor Series, when in fact you don't have to do war games every single year. War games should be specialized in a way where it only can be used when there's a necessity for that, when there's a storyline driven for that. And so, in order for it to work, there has to be a big storyline for it to happen. And number two, I think look at the War Games match, the men's War Games, even the women's War Games match from last year, 2024. What were the names in the men's? Roman, Jay,
You had Roman,
CM Punk.
Jay, Jimmy, CM Punk.
Yeah. Versus then they were in a feud with the other bloodline, right?
That made sense. Yes.
All right, but look at the names in this year's War Games: Roman, Jay, Jimmy, CM Punk.
Cody.
Yeah, you just take away Sammy and you replace Cody, but Cody was in there 2 years ago.
Yeah.
A lot of
And
the same guys, and you can't run, especially when you're running the same pay per view, the same model, the same theme every year for the same pay per view. You cannot have the same guys in it. It just feels like rinse and repeat to me.
yeah, it does. And I feel like that really hurt the quality of the match this year.